Shalom Akim, Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahushai Ba'Shem Kwakadash, double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Brooklyn Stone Rule Well, and the Akim preaching the word of the Lord Yahushai HaMashiach in sincerity and truth throughout the four corners of the earth. This is Brother Menashe DC Camp with a short lesson to edify the hopeful elect. Alright, so you see on the screen, man, this issue as per, race and identity and all that. It's just a topic that's always going to keep popping its head, alright? And it's all part of prophecy. It's all how the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai by Shem Kadash has set it up, alright? So now they're talking about now a so-called professor at George Washington University was trying to pass as an Israelite, claiming she's an African American, black or whatever they want to classify themselves as. But you just have to realize, man, it's power of prophecy, man. It's Babylon, all right. And you also know our people have mingled their seeds among the other nations as well. Other nations have mingled their seeds among our people. Alright, so don't be surprised when you confront her with situations like this. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and bring out a quick precept. It's going to be from the book of Job, chapter 8, verse 8. Alright, so Job, chapter 8, verse 8. It tells you that's really necessary to to look into your lineage, all right? If you do have the chance and the ability to do so, all right? Otherwise, just go by the words of the Lord, by Shema Shai, by Shema Kadash, all right? Job chapter 8, verse 8. For I inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of thy fathers, all right? For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers, alright? And that's what the men of the Lord have been about, alright? Always looking to the research, the history of our nation, the history of the Israelites, of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, spread out throughout the four corners of the earth, alright? So we're looking up the artifacts, we're looking up all the information that's available out there, and most importantly, we're using the Holy Scriptures, all right, because that's what it boils down to: faith in the words of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai that are printed in the good book, all right, and that's what we have to move by, all right. So it's really necessary, we keep our mind busy. And the Lord Yahushua already said that, blessed is he that read it and hear the words of this prophecy, all right? And we got to be aware of the situations our nation had to endure, all right? So another precept is going to be from the book of Numbers, chapter 1, verse 18. That's what it boils down to. It's just the simple building blocks of the Holy Scriptures. Numbers 1 and 18. Alright, so it says, alright, let's start from 17. It says, and Moses and Aaron took these men, which are expressed by their names. Alright, these are the children of Israel. They were chosen to be, of a particular office. Alright, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month. And they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their poll. All right, and that's what it boils down to. All right, and that's what it is. Well, that's how the Lord Abba Shemashah gets down. Now it tells you that they're, selected. What it means selective service. That's what it boils down to. Men that of a certain age, they have to join. Of a fighting age, they gotta join from 25 and up. All right, let me see, 20 and up. All right, 20 years old and upward. All right, that's what you call the reserves. The army. That's what it boils down to. All right, and it says they are gathered according to the house of their fathers. All right, so the father basically determines the nature or the nationality of the child. All right, it doesn't matter what his skin complexion is. If he's an Israelite, he's an Israelite. All right, and this situation with Rachel Dolezal, it's a hilarious situation. All right, so I'll just play the clip real quick.
University in the US has launched an investigation after an academic publicly admitted to spending her entire career pretending to be black when she was in fact white. Jessica Krug, an associate professor of history at George Washington Uni, made her confession in a blog post, and it caused a stir.
I have eschewed my lived experience as a white Jewish child in suburban Kansas City under various assumed identities within a blackness that I had no right to claim. I'm not a culture vulture, I'm a culture leech.
So this is bizarre.
Yep, so that's hilarious, all right? And that's one thing, we got to deal with. There are certain people that want to cleave, to our identity, and then find out they're just pretending to be. And on the other hand, the Lord knows who's an Israelite and who isn't, all right? So I'm going to get this quick precept. It's going to be from the book of Job. All right, it's just so simple to understand that the Lord Yahweh Shai has already numbered the children of Israel. All right, so this is the book of Job, chapter 14, verse 4. It says, "Who could bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one." All right. So when these nations have been deemed, to be who they are, they cannot be grafted in, into the body of the nation of Israel. All right. So a Hamite cannot become an Israelite. All right. A Moabite cannot become an Israelite. All right. But if an Israelite the Israelite man has relation with any woman of different nations, whether she's Moabite, all right, whether she's Japhite, whether she's an Edomite or Ishmaelite, the children are going to be Israelites, all right? So that means they are what you can call, Israelites by default. No matter how hard, their mothers try to, teach them the culture of their so-called, nation. It doesn't change anything. All right, the child is an Israelite. Okay, so I read Job chapter 14, verse 4. Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one. All right. So whatever the Lord has deemed unclean cannot be made clean. Just like the dietary laws. The Lord did not say He's going to change, the status of a pig from unclean to clean, catfish, raccoon, eagles, and all that, all the, unclean animals. The Lord does not operate like that. He's set in His word, all right? So when these nations are considered unclean, they have no business, in the temple of the Lord Yahweh Shai. They're not even allowed to be in the temple or to be numbered among the congregation. All right, basically to even hold office. All right, among the elect, even 1/3. All right. So another precept would be from the book of Amos, chapter 9, verse 9. Amos chapter 9, verse 9. All right. All right, so this is what it says. For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. All right, and that's what it boils down to. It doesn't matter how great or small the Israelite is among the other nations, his appearance, the Lord Yahweh Shema has already set his mark upon him as an Israelite. The spirit within him is an Israelite. All right, so this is Amos chapter 9, verse 9. For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel from among all nations. Who's going to do the sifting? The angels of the Lord. All right. When you read the parable of the sword, I'll show you the parable of the wheat and tares. All right. You have to do the separation. All right. Then it says, like as corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. All right. So, Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is already on that level to know who's who. All right. And that's why you can't really judge by the appearance. You have to judge according to the spirit. And that brings us to the next precept of Romans chapter 8, verse 16. And it reads, let's see, Romans chapter 8, verse, let's see, Romans chapter 8. It's like I can just read through this properly. Romans chapter 8, I was looking at a different Roman numeral, alright? Romans chapter 8, verse 16, the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High, Yahweh Shema Shab, Shema Kodash. Alright, it's that simple, okay?
My heart goes out to any black person who invited Jessica Krug into their sacred space under the assumption that she was black too.
Yo, we have to talk about this. Jessica Krug, a white Jewish woman from Kansas City, has been passing as a black Latina Caribbean woman for years. Yeah,
and that's one thing our people need to understand, man. Our nation is mixed. Alright? I mean, you could pull out the image of the woman, and then you see, whether she is Israelite or not. Alright?
this is violence, this is anti-black, and this is shameful.
When Jessica Krug gets her book deal and is on the talk show circuit, remember this tweet. White women continually harm our communities and are rewarded for their efforts.
Well, the case has drawn comparisons with Rachel Dolezal, a former US black rights activist who was outed as being white by her parents. Even top politicians have been caught stretching the truth when it comes to ethnicity. Last year, Senator Elizabeth Warren apologized.
And that's one thing you gotta understand, man. With these so-called, situations, man. So you can always tell, if the mother, that's, felt like an Edomite. Maybe she had relations with a Jake that looked like an Edomite, or the child was adopted, or something else was going on, or the dad is an Israelite and doesn't want to disclose, the his family tree and all that stuff. It's a variety of things, but only the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai can decide, what took place. All right, He set it up in a certain way. All right, so Romans chapter 8, verse 16, the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. And that's one thing you're going to come across when you're preaching the word on the highways and byways. All right, because you see brothers coming across Jakes, whether they're from Ireland, from Spain, Portugal, the Middle East, West Africa. So many weird situations, man. We think someone's an Edomite and he gets pissed off, he starts to yell. All of a sudden, you see the spirit of of a Levite. The vibration of a Levite pops out of him. The vibration of Issachar pops out of him. The vibration of Benjamin pops out of him. That's how, the Lord has his show set up, his suspense. That's why you can't really go around just, knocking people based on their appearance. So you just gotta pray that Lord Yahweh Shema Shai give you that spirit of discernment, not to rush, towards being hasty in judgment. All right. When you read the book of Matthew, chapter 13, from verse 24 to 30, tells you about the parable of the wheat and the tares. And you also read the book of Acts, chapter 10, all right, from verse 9 to verse 16, all right, the vision that Peter had, when the sheet with the four corners came down from heaven, and the situation, was relayed to him 3 times. He had the fowls and the beasts, all that. Yeah, and leading to the Cornelius situation where Cornelius had to be be recognized as an Israelite. All right, so that's just the point there. You just got to understand the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai set it up a certain way to to bring His mystery to pass.
Identifying herself as part Native American. Legal and media analyst Lionel gave us his take on the story.
And that's one thing, man. You have a lot of Edomites that come into a lot of, fraudulent activities, by paying $5, to have a document notarized that they're Native Americans so they could qualify for certain government programs and all that. And it's a pattern. Esau always want to, use the system to his advantage and abuse it. And that's what happens, That's what happens. So you just got to pray, Lord, that by Shema Shabbat, Shema Kakadash, continue to make you be aware of these issues that we have to, address, all right?
There is a benefit for people to have certain demographic characteristics for academic reasons, sometimes for loans.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, when they realize that the Israel, our nation, is destined for salvation, the nations want to tag along. So you can't really blame them. They want to be saved. They want to get a piece of the, the kingdom, kingdom lessons. All right, and that's one thing we have to be aware of, man. Even though we're in a lower state, these nations envy us. All right, even we don't have much, these nations still want to be like us. So it just proves, who the true rulers of the world are. All right. So you shouldn't be ashamed, man, of your identity as an Israelite. You should stand boldly upon it. even with the census, you know, don't make a big issue out of it. All right, because end of the day, the Lord Yahweh Shai is still in control. You know, the census cannot define who you are, according to the Spirit of the Lord Yahweh Shai.
Sometimes for mortgages, I think we ought to eliminate any distinction, any reference, any mention of gender or sex or sexual inclination on applications. So that when I get your application, I don't know who it is. All I know is I see your numbers, I see your scores, I see your grades. I'll take this person. If you want to eliminate racial discrimination, stop considering it at all. And when you start playing around with characteristics in terms of ethnicity, demographic, all that, it gets to the point where that becomes the important factor. And
that's how Esau is able to, you know, shut down access to certain opportunities, just like he did. You know, even the elder Malcolm from the Chicago camp has done numerous lessons on this, on how Esau would like to change definitions and classifications and all that, and then to give themselves the upper hand. And then when they realize that's no longer working for them, they want to change the rules again. All right. So that's just the point that I can hope you've been edified, and pray Lord Yahweh Shema shall continue to bless you and uplift you and edify you. All right. By Shema Kadash. Shalom.